I'm more amazing than her, though. She's only a little bit amazing. I'm really amazing.
Well, thanks for coming in. Well, Nancy Griffith called you the sweetest voice of Ireland.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Time Out magazine described Kieran as one man, one guitar, a voice sent express mail from heaven. Doesn't get much better than that.
No, that's my own quote, actually. I made that up, and I just said it was. Who did I say it was? Time Out, was it? Time Out said that. That was.
So you must have been looking at each other thinking, good grief, has it really been 20 years?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was actually about, I think it was last summer, 12 months, nearly 2 years ago now, when I got the phone call from Kieran, who rang and said, Frances, how would you feel about doing a couple of dates in the Opera House in Belfast? And I was absolutely delighted and over the moon. And I think that was the beginning of it for us. But I think the best part of it all was that we were really amazed and delighted and really happy at the reaction from people, and the fact that people were so responsive and wanting to come to the gigs, and even now, 2 years down the line, it seems to be getting better, because the gigs are selling really well. We're having great crack, and yeah, it's been an amazing 2 years for us being on the road.
And it's not something anyone could take for granted. You know, when it's over 20 years since you've toured, you'd be a fool to just presume that audience was still there for you, you know. So we, you know, I think it was only sensible that we test the water a little bit, and we put on one Opera House show and then it sold out, put on a second one, it sold out, and we had the same experience in Glasgow in the Royal Concert Hall. It ended up 2 sold out shows there on that tour. So we realised that people did remember it, and I think more importantly, a bit like the song that you've just played, Everybody Loves to Love, I think people remembered the songs. They remember it was a different time. The world was a bit simpler back then, and people were going out to gigs, and you know. So I think what we've really tapped into is that people have fond memories about that whole period.
I think it's nostalgia really as well.
Yeah.
You know, and we sing songs that bring back memories to people of a particular era or a particular time, and people want to go back there and feel that nostalgia and feel that nice feeling.
So when you did sit for the first time after all that time in a room again and start to sing, I assume there were a few nerves, but then when you started to sing together, you thought, actually, this is we can get back into this pretty easily.
I think the amazing thing was that it was so simple. It was like falling off a log. You wouldn't. There's lots of things you forget in 20 odd years, but we even knew the key that songs were in. You would know where to. There was one or two songs, the harmonies. It always seemed very, very easy to us, and that's always a good sign in music. If something's just coming together easy, it in my experience has been that's a good sign. But I think even more than the songs, what I loved was when there's a difference between sitting in a room and practicing songs, then going up in front of an audience and doing it on a stage. And that first show that we did in Glasgow, it was just how comfortable it was, how easy. We both knew when to swap over between each other, and you talk, I talk, without really ever agreeing it. So that sort of chemistry that was between us just personally was a big part of it. And I think that's what the audience are tapping into as well. You know, the fact that you're happy to be there, that you want to, you know, there are some old songs that people want to hear, but we took the opportunity to try out a few new songs that, you know, in the meantime, Frances has had years of hits. I've had a few hits, and you know, so we had a lot of songs to choose from, and we had a lot to catch up on, and I think the audience became part of that.
I wanted to ask you about that sort of immediate connection that you said, because when I was reading up on the two of you before you came in, I didn't know your father was from Rathlin.
From Rathlin Island, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So there's a bit of a mixture there, probably a bit of Irish, maybe even some Scottish influences.
Probably, yeah. I mean, definitely. We down to the years, our family, when we sang together, we obviously end up singing a couple of Scottish songs, a couple of Irish songs, you know. So yeah, there's definitely a Scottish influence on Rathlin, but all of us, I think, would hone in more on the kind of Irishy stuff. But I think, yeah, Rathlin Island is a very special place. It's the only island within the 6 counties, and I feel really, really happy to be one of the islanders and to be classed as one of the islanders. It's fantastic.
Sure. And Kieran, you grew up in a family that had really quite diverse musical influences.
Yeah.
The point of me asking you this is because of the range of influences that you both had, did you think that helped the connection that you had when you started singing all those years ago?
I think it's hard to know. I mean, I think I think the reality is that both myself and Kieran, we like the same type of music. Our voices blend very well together. There is definitely some kind of a chemistry, a musical chemistry between us that you can't even put a finger on. It's like as if we're family, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
I mean, I know I would consider, if I sing with my family, it's very easy. And that's the way I feel with Kieran. And even after the 20 years of not performing together, when we started to perform, it felt like so comfortable, and it was like as if I was home from a musical point of view. So I don't know why that is. It's very hard to explain it. Who knows? But it really, really works. That's what we do.
And it's also hard to categorise, because you can't really say it's folk, because it's not. There's a folk element to it,
Yes.
but it's not folk. It's not country, even though there's a country element to it. It's not pop, even though we both are big fans of great pop. So it's that sort of thing that we both just like good songs. And we both like fun as well. The shows in particular aren't just about the music. It's about talking to the audience and giving them a bit of background to where the songs come from, a bit of crack with them, a bit of putting everybody at ease. So we both have the same attitude to performing, that we're not over earnest about it, not over serious. But I think more than anything, it's just that we're happy to be there. And if you can get that sense of being happy to be in the moment and to be enjoying this moment in your life, then if you can get that across to an audience, that makes for a good night.
Well, really experienced singer-songwriters will always say the same thing, that what is absolutely critical is the connection that you have with your audience.
It is, and that's something that I talked about the experience that we both have now. I actually think the shows, and maybe I'm not the one to should be saying this, but in my opinion, I think the shows we're doing now are better than the shows we did 25 years ago. I think it just stands to reason in that we've both been doing it for a lot longer. We're very fresh because we haven't been gigging together. So there's this mad mixture of it being like a new band, but a new band who know you've got all this history as well. It's a kind of a strange thing, but I'm loving the shows, and as I said, it's something we do for a certain period of time. We're hoping to turn it into a sort of a 15-20 date annual tour around this time every year, but after that we all head off in various, like my life's hectic with most of my work is abroad, has been for years, particularly Germany and Switzerland and stuff, but Frances has a hectic life as well. We wouldn't want to be your life is worse than mine, isn't it?
It's very busy at the moment, particularly with my kind of new role in the Shannon, and I was elected last year.
You were.
So it's amazing and a huge privilege, but and then I'm also kind of involved with a charity work that I set up as well. So and then I'm doing my own gigs, and then I do gigs with Mary Coughlin and Sharon Shannon and my daughter Aoife. So it's very, very, very busy. So it's hectic actually, but I'm loving every minute of it.
Can I ask you about the politics side of it? Because you said you were surprised to be elected.
I was,
and of course through the foundation, and that what you said was you want to be the voice of the vulnerable in society. That's really important to you.
Yeah, I felt, well, with the work that I do with the charity, I got a little bit frustrated because I couldn't get heard as I suppose the CEO of this charity that I set up, and I wanted to speak on behalf of the people that are come to the organisation, and I got frustrated, and then I started to kind of be frustrated around the issues around mental health and not enough services and not enough. The homelessness situation is horrendous. And that's why I just wanted to run in the campaign to highlight those issues and to meet up with county councillors. And I was amazed. And obviously the county councillors and the city councillors around the country who voted for me agreed with that there needed to be somebody in the Shannon being a voice for the vulnerable. And that's really what I aim to do, and that's what I am doing, and I'm working hard on that. And there are issues that I'm extremely passionate about. So I'm blessed to be in there. I feel very privileged, and I hope I can work towards influencing people so that there will be change.
Will you do a song for us?
We'd love to.
What you didn't know is, I nearly forgot about the adverts because we were just testing the microphone. And I completely forgot that it was on the radio.
Well, you better do the ads. You better do the ads.
So we've got you set up. Would you like to get yourselves ready?
Yes, thank you very much.
We'll hear
Thanks
a song
a
from
million.
you. This is going to be a real treat. The amazing Frances Black and Kieran Goss reunion.
Across the ocean there's a wall 1,000 miles long, They built it many years ago and made it high and strong. And all around the world we build walls around our minds. And if they weren't built so strong, we tear them down in time. Yes, we've heard it all before,
Like the beating of a drum. And if we open up that door, someday peace will come. And we must find a way to make a flower from a stone. And then we'd never have to say we've heard it all before.
and you can read it in the news. Out in the city streets, people gone to sleep each night without enough to eat.
And if we took a little less and gave a little more,
and
then we never would forget. We've heard it all before. Yes, we've heard it all before. Like the beating of a drum. And if we open up that door, someday peace will come. And we must find a way to make a flower from a stone. Then we'd never have to say we've heard it all before.
That is such a beautiful song. Such a beautiful song.
So much.
Thank you.
Thanks a million.
And you make that look so easy.
We love it. We love
We
it.
love it. Why wouldn't we?
love it.
So you are this evening at the Braid in Ballymena.
The Braid in Ballymena, and then we head off tomorrow,
Okay.
and we're drive off to Galway. We're in a place called Moycullen, way over in Galway, and then we're down to Cork. But we're back up north again on the 23rd and 24th, and we're playing in the Ardone in Enniskillen
Yep.
and the Burnavon in Cookstown, 23rd and 24th of February.
Okay. And so tonight in Ballymena at the Braid, the 23rd the Ardone in Enniskillen, and on the 24th the Burnavon in Cookstown. I think people are in for a real treat.
I hope so.
I think they'll enjoy the gig. They
I think-
will.
I
It's
think
a
they will.
journey with Frances Black and Kieran Goss.
It's been a real pleasure to see you
Thank
again.
you.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
million.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us in there.